Okay, everybody, so today we're going to do the stickers. I'm going to also show you how to do some things like curved surfaces. So I went ahead and I found this logo I want to do. So that's a little simpler, right? It has a couple curves, but it's mostly straight lines. And then this one is going to be incredibly complex, or one of these fires. So you'll see me try to tackle that challenge. Okay, let's look at AutoCAD. And when I first opened AutoCAD, yours may go to a start page. Mine opened right to a drawing. I don't know. I don't know what yours is set to. Nonetheless, if you just hit new, it should open it up, and it would look like this. And like I mentioned before, I don't like this grid, so I turn that off at the bottom. So now I can see a little better. And one thing I also like to do is I turn on all the snaps. So there's this little button with a square, and there's a little pull down or a little arrow right next to that. So you can kind of see where it is on my screen. I can help you find it if you're having trouble. It's a square, the little square in the corner. That's your snaps button. That's your settings, basically. And if you have a check next to something, that means it's turned on. Now, you probably don't have everything turned on. I usually turn it all on. So, I don't know. I'm used to it. So you may see some snaps in here that you may not have turned on. Just be aware of that. Or you can just turn them on like I do. It's personal preference. Sometimes they snap too much and it might get in the way. You might have to like zoom in. So there's pluses and minuses to that. All right, so let's go into the curvy lines that I haven't really talked about. First thing is arc. All right, so in your draw section, right next to circle, you have arc. And normally it's just a 3-point arc. So that means it's first, it shows you if you hold your mouse on it. You click 1 and then 2 and then 3. So you do end point, middle, end point. That's the basic one. Of course, there's all kinds of other ones. Start, center, length, start, end, angle. And there's different times you could use these. Start, end, radius. But I'm just going to stick with the 3-point for right now. That's just the default. So I'm going to click on it. And it says arc. Specify first start point of arc. So I'm just going to click. Now it says specify second point. And I don't really have anything to trace right now, so I'm just going to click. And you can see once I do that, it's finally asking for the last point, but you can see what the preview would look like now. Depending on where I move that, it does different shapes. All right, so I'm just going to click, and now I have a basic arc. If I click on the arc, I can adjust the end point. I can adjust the center point. All right, so if I did several arcs, let's say I wanted something that had like what's called a compound radius, which a lot of designs do, you may have to chain 2 arcs together. So I'm going to type A for arc, and you can see it's the first thing on the list. So I should be able to just hit space. You don't have to click on it. All right, and I'm going to start at the end of the last one. I'm kind of guessing where my center point is right now. And now that looks a little bit wonky, right? It's got this kind of a kink in it. I don't know if you guys can see it from where you are, but the trick to that is if you select both of these points, then you can either push these together at the same time to make it better or worse, or you could adjust the angles of it. All right, so this is actually how we're going to end up doing some of these really fancy things like that. All right, it could be just a bunch of arcs. All right, so that's one tool, and we'll get into practicing that more in a second. Another tool is kind of hidden on the top here. So if you click on this little pull down arrow, you're going to have a little more things here. And the very first thing is a spline or a spline fit. They work a little bit differently. I usually just type in SPL, but if I click on it, now I can see my directions at the bottom. Specify first point. Okay, I'm going to click 1, then I'll click 2, and as I keep going with this one, I can do as many as I really want. So I can do a long curvy line, and when I'm done, I just hit space one more time. You might be able to take a hit escape too. Let me try that. Escape? No, you got to do space at the end of it. 1, 2, 3, click. All right, so that is called spline, and if I click on that, I can then edit that too. It's a little bit more fluid, but it gives you a little bit less control in some ways. I don't know if you've used other programs where they have handles. This doesn't really do the handles. You could change this sometimes, which you guys probably aren't that point yet, but you can say display control vertices, and it's just another way to do that. All right, so let's get into actually doing the sticker. I'm going to delete these. I'm just going to hit the delete button. Gone. And that one's a little tricky. Let's start with this. All right, so to get this onto my computer, I'm going to save it. I don't think you can just copy and paste it. Let's see if that works. Copy and then Control V. What do you know? It actually works, but it's a little bit squished. That's weird. I'm going to save it and do it the proper way. So to delete these, you just select the frame, and then should be able to hit delete. There you go. And I'll try this again. This time I'm going to actually download it proper. And right click, save image as. And then I can open that up on my computer. Downloads. All right, so I'm going to minimize that. And I'm just going to show you. I can select the logo and just drag it in. Now, when I do that, it says specify insertion point. That's just asking you where do you want to put it. I'll put it here. And then it says, basically, it lets you pick a size. And if you don't know the size, you can just hit space. That'll do the default, which is 1. And if you don't know the rotation, you don't know, just hit space. I'll hit V too, just hit space. And what happened with me is it actually made a tiny one. And only reason I could see that is because I'm used to seeing that. But it might be easier just to scale it. But now I have it, and that's good. I don't know how that just happened. Okay. Oh, my computer's acting crazy. It should not do what it just did. That's usually only if you're holding shift. That goes into 3D. So if that happens, just click on top on this cube. I'm gonna just keep going. I I don't know why it's acting crazy, but let's start at a point, right? I'm going to say, start with a simple point, maybe these straight lines. So I'm going to start with my line tool and click here. I'm going to click at the end. In this case, it doesn't really have the end, so I'm going to kind of guess where that is. All right, you may have to zoom in. And can you guys see that line? Because I can't. All right, so how do we remedy that problem? Well, that's kind of simple, actually. We're going to have to change the color of our layer. All right, that way everything we do in the future will also be that color. So layers, we haven't really talked about yet. Layers are in this box at the top where it says layers. There's a big button that says layer properties. And then there is this is like a pull down menu. Right now, this only has one layer. So it's not much, but you can see if I pull it down, it gives me options. I can turn layers off or freeze them. And these two buttons, they pretty much work the same. It hides the layer. And locking makes it so you can't edit it by accident. And then the last thing here is the name 0 and the color of the layer. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to click on it. And I think I'm going to go with red. It's easy to see. And as soon as I do that, it's a little bit easier for me to see my line. If you're still having issues seeing it, there's another trick. You guys may not have to do this, but I'm going to show you anyway. The other way is to make your line thicker. So in order to do that, we have to turn on what's called line weights, which is down at the bottom. These are basically toggle buttons. I'll make this one blue. It's right next to the square and next to the Mitsubishi symbol. So that's on because it's blue and nothing really changed. All right, I'm going to look at my layer properties real quick. And here's my name, my color, and then here it says line weight. Now I just turned the line weight button on. Whoa, where'd that go? Oh, so it hides itself. It's over on the side. So I just turned that on, but oh wow, it's not letting me click on it. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Let me pause this. Okay, well, my computer's having issues right now. Normally, I would click on where it says line weight, and I can make that thicker. I should be able to do it this way to show you what it will look like. Oh no, it's not letting me select anything. Okay. Okay, so I got this working. I'm going to try to click on line weight again. Whoa. There it is. Right here, and I'm going to make that thicker. And when I hit OK, you can see it in the background. And if you need help with this, guys, just let me know. I can help you individually. I just want you to know that it's possible, and now it's recorded. All right, I'm going to continue. I'm going to go a little bit faster. I'm going to just trace another line. I don't know where that ends, so I'm going to draw this, and then I'll do a little trick that I like to do, which is the fillet tool. Shortcut F, buttons up here. You click on one part, you click on the other, and it makes a perfect corner. All right, now here, that's actually a curve. So let's draw our first arc. I'm going to just type A for arc, and then space. So I'm clicking 1. I'm going to click, basically just tracing this, clicking 2, and then trying to estimate where the arc ends. And you can see, like, at a certain point, it stops fitting. So I'm going to guess here. We can always edit it after the fact. It's a little arc there. And then this looks like a straight line. You'll notice that my cursor actually goes across the entire screen, so I can kind of line that up. If you guys wanted me to help you with that, just let me know. I don't want to get this too convoluted right now. But I'm going until basically this line doesn't follow the image anymore. So maybe here. And I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to hit L. No, nope. I'm going to do arc. A, and then 1, 2, and you'll see it stops tracing that right about here, right? And it might look funny. So let's just keep going, and then I'll edit it if I have to. All right, so that's a line. Obviously, that's a line. All right, now that looks a little bit weird. There's like kind of a kink in it. So I'm going to click both of these, select them both, and just try to pull them out. Maybe I'd have to change where this starts sometimes. And if it doesn't 100% follow your design, you might have to... First of all, you can make it look good, even if it's not like, right now it's not on that line, but when I look at it, when I go to move, it like disappears. And I look at it and, oh, there you go. It looks fine, you know, even though it's not like 100%. So this is an arc. So 1, 2, I'm gonna guess about here for the end of that. I'm gonna do fillet. You guys don't have to. You can always just push it. You can always make them touch just manually. That's pretty good. All right, so let's try to get this done before I lose everybody. You gotta guys remember, when you doing AutoCAD or doing really any kind of CAD thing, there's always multiple ways to do everything, and you may find a different way to accomplish the same thing. And you know, if it works, it works. I just try to show you the ways I do everything, and use that as a starting point at least. Okay. All right, so I'm almost there. I got a couple more arcs. One more arc. And again, I just like to do a fillet, but if I hit escape, you can always click on the line and push it until it just hits the other one. That seems to look just fine. All right, so I got a good Z. I'm gonna just, oh wait, there's an arc there. I didn't see that. I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that slightly differently. I'll help you guys in a second if you're having some issues. All right, so I'm just tracing this. I'm going right through the part because I'll just use trim and I'll trim that out. Now you guys can do it differently, but it'll look the best this way because it'll be like it'll line up better. All right, now for these corners, I could use arc, but I'm actually going to use fillet. So I'm going to use it differently because right now I'm using fillet to make a perfect corner, right? So that's a hard corner. If I go back into fillet, which is F, it says select object or, and then one of the or options is radius. I can either click on radius or I usually just type R. You'll see that the R is actually blue there. So now the directions change at the bottom and it says specify fillet radius. I don't know what the number is, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to estimate if this was a circle, where would the center of the circle be? And I just draw a line. Now it says I can basically select the two objects. And it's not bad. I could try to do this again and make a better radius. So I'm going to go back into fillet. I'm going to type R. And I'm going to try to just make it bigger. See how it looks. See, it's a little more rounded. I like that. So I'll delete the original one. And I'll use the same exact radius over here. So fillet. Nice. So that's pretty much done. Oh, by the way, if you want to go back to doing hard corners, you do F for fillet, click on radius or type R, and then you just set that back to 0. And we could practice that more. I just want to show you. All right, last thing I have to do, trim. Because if I leave these lines on here, when I make my sticker, it's going to slice that, and then you'll have like little pieces that are separate. So I want this to be one piece. So TR is my shortcut for trim. It's also the scissors up at the top. And click those 4 points, and I am golden. Matter of fact, I like to copy it off to the side and then delete the original image. Edit that. All right, so I'm going to click on, it's called hatch. The shortcut's H. If I click on that, you should be able to click inside of your design, or like if you have like separate parts, it's just like a paint bucket. And then at the top, you can change the thing to solid. You can change the color here if you wanted to. And that's going to be pretty useful. Now, there's actually a couple more things I'll get into with the stickers for more advanced stickers. But this is good for now. I won't do anything else today. We'll just pick up where I left off tomorrow. All right. Let me know if you need any help with anything.